62,000 is, in my opinion, a reason to become pessimistic about Bitcoin. Yes, if you're trading it, but 10 years ago, Bitcoin was worth $1,000 or at most $100. 60,000 is still a great return then. Additionally, I believe that Bitcoin's utility is still growing. It doesn't seem to move. Assets are still at risk. Therefore, if tariffs are hitting the market, I don't think it will do well. As if it is susceptible to such turbulence, will there be an increase in trust in Bitcoin over the next 5 years? Indeed. And will it be seen more and more as a gold-like store of value? Yes, I believe that more and more. Is there space for many more people to possess it after that? Indeed. Although I'm not very pessimistic about it, I do believe that it should rise in the near future. Tom Lee is a strong believer that XRP Bitcoin and numerous other cryptocurrencies will see a period of growth that is unlike anything that has ever been witnessed in history. And this is happening this year, according to a lot of statistics. The adoption curve is the first. Similar to the internet, XRP and cryptocurrencies in general have been expanding far more quickly than they were in the past. And this growth rate has only accelerated as millions of new users enter the market virtually every day. And if things keep going this way, it makes perfect sense to think that XRP Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies will experience a lot of price movement at some point this year as institutions, individual investors, businesses, and everyone else become more involved. Additionally, recent announcements that governments are building their own strategic reserves have brought some very interesting dynamics to the markets. I believe that many of you should be aware of how those dynamics will look, how you can profit from them, and much more. In today's video, we will do that. Let's listen to what Tom Lee has to say and make sure you hit the like button so that everyone can see it. Take pleasure in the video. The greatest course of action we have suggested to our clients is to simply aim to be a long-term holder. You are aware. However, it is not how most people view cryptocurrency. The majority trade it in hopes of receiving a quick return. According to the work of our technical strategist, Mark Newton, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana all have drawbacks. Since the middle of January, he has been pessimistic. Thus, I believe it has been accurate. By the end of March, his downside target for Bitcoin is 62,000. But is 62,000, in my opinion, a reason to become pessimistic about Bitcoin? Yes, if you're trading it, but 10 years ago, Bitcoin was worth $1,000 or at most $100. 60,000 is still a great return, you know. Additionally, I believe that Bitcoin's utility is still growing. It doesn't seem to move. Assets are still at risk. Therefore, if tariffs are hitting the market, I don't think it will do well. Although it is susceptible to such instability, will Bitcoin's reputation for trust increase over time? Yes, 5 years. And will it be seen more and more as a gold-like store of value? Yes, I believe that more and more. Is there space for many more people to possess it after that? Indeed. As a result, I'm not very pessimistic about it, but I do believe that it should rise in the near future. How do you feel about the stock market in general? I mean, a lot of these risks are currently being priced in by the market. We're churning, which is sense, but investors don't want to get very pessimistic. Due to the fact that market sentiment is already quantifiable, as demonstrated by the II poll, which we have been using for the past 14 years, the finest retail attitude survey, in my opinion, is still pessimistic. It happened in the autumn of 2022. Retail mood is at levels that were at the bottom of that previous bear market, most likely as a result of the high volume of margin calls during the past few weeks. Investors therefore perceive this as a crisis, even though it is actually a growth scare. Therefore, I believe that we are likely to experience our lowest points for the first half this week. And you mean down 5 or 6%? Yes, it might be. The only thing is that I don't have a lot of hope for the job situation in the near future. That might be the final leg. However, the truth is that a lot of negative news has been priced in, and The converse of this is that the Fed must move away from neutrality the closer we get to stall speed. The White House, in my opinion, will have to refrain from discussing issues that can be detrimental to the economy. I believe that July and August of last year were mostly Fed-driven. Yes. Therefore, that makes sense. We experienced a significant decline because of the dangers involved. It seemed as though the Fed either changed its stance or made a mistake in policy. Is that going to occur this year? Yes, I do believe that will occur. I am. It's more in the second half, I suppose. As a result, I believe that this is currently only a flesh wound and not the cause of a downturn. Let's say we get the base case on that pro-growth agenda that many people are excited about. How much upside do you think we'll get if we remove a lot of the obstacles, like the uncertainties we just discussed, out of the way? Let me explain why I don't believe it to be 10%. For example, if certain rules were put into place, the US stock market would drop by 10%. Yes. The rest of the world is down 30, I promise. Correct. Will Canada, Mexico, and Europe pitch in and say, oh, we'll just get through this? They will, in fact, give in. In actuality, this brinksmanship most likely results in the other side giving in. Tom Lee suggests investing to his clients. In other words, Tom Lee is essentially saying that Trump is well aware of the global economic malaise. And that's basically the reason he's pushing for these tariff negotiations. In essence, he is saying, I am aware of your weak economies. I am aware that your inflation rate is at an all-time high. Your real estate markets are struggling. You have greater unemployment rates. And I think you will give me a better deal if I put enough pressure on you guys. I can then seal that deal. After that, we can launch QE in a sincere manner and completely blow these markets away. Therefore, no one gains more than the United States. How do you actually feel about it? This is a really wise idea for his country if he's going to prioritize America. Even if it might not be optimal for China, Canada, or Europe, the reality is that all of those nations and regions are going through a difficult time at the moment. As a result, he may effectively attack when they are weak, capitalize on their status as the global reserve currency, win, and obtain additional liquidity. And naturally, let his nation advance at a rapid pace. Additionally, if other nations agree with Trump's requirements, this might work out well for them as well, including Canada and Mexico. Trump's terms, in my opinion, are now rather explicit. Therefore, you may either follow the crowd or continue to harm your economy until you're compelled to do so. That's basically what we appear to be looking at the moment. And generally speaking, I concur with this. What does this signify for the cryptocurrency markets and XRP in particular? Trump may or may not continue to impose these tariffs. Therefore, that implies that things will be a complete roller coaster. And it will hurt a lot if he does. For all parties concerned, including the US, it will be extremely painful. For Canada, Mexico, Europe, and China, all parties involved in this tariff war, it will only get more expensive. And Trump will simply wait for it to happen. He will wait for it to pass. Before people start giving in, he will see how long he can go. And he will be happy to renegotiate terms to his advantage and proceed with his butt. XRP will move up.